Well, good morning, everybody. How are you this morning? There are many times if you watch my stream where it ends right here at the Ore Sales and Refinement Processing Refinery Center. And so I always do think every so often it's a good idea to show you how things progress from here. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to do a little bit of a quant run in the Taurus. I'm going to record it, kind of talk you guys through it a little bit, and make sure that you kind of understand how the loop that I do all the time in the stream kind of closes on the other side of it. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We are going to take a look at the refinement center here, a terminal, and I'm going to go ahead and click begin. And we have work orders here that are complete, 9 of them as a matter of fact. Now, I could use the M2 and haul all that in at once, and maybe a lot of this will fit on the Taurus as well. But we're definitely gonna use the Constellation Taurus today. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and select a complete work order. I'm gonna go to the Constellation Taurus, and I'm gonna go ahead and click collect. And I am going to do that for every one of the work orders that I want to haul in today. And the server's been a little bit janky today, I'll be honest with you. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's exceptionally fast, but you can see the amount of space going down available. So now there's only 116 SCU left in there. And all these may fit on here, I don't know, they may not. Either way is okay, because that's the most amount that I want to take today anyways. The servers aren't being super friendly, and you know, I don't want to put it all in there. But I have 3 other jobs cooking besides these particular ones. So we've got, it looks like we're certainly not going to be able to take all these, so no big deal. We still have a couple of work orders left. See if there's a small one I may be able to fit in there. What about this one? Nope, that one won't fit. And actually there's only 11, so this one won't fit either. So we still have another 50, 66 SCU that we can't take, but that's okay. That means we got about 160 some SCU on board the Constellation Taurus, and we will head upstairs and we will run that over to Area 18 on our port and turn it in. And so, yeah, I'm just going to show you the whole kind of thing. You know, I'm not gonna kind of do a whole lot of editing. It's one of those things where I just think you can always just fast forward through if you want. But I do think it's always healthy to kind of, once in a while, show you the other side of this loop. It's something that not everybody always takes into consideration. Is not only do you have all of the mining, you have to, of course, do the hauling at the end of it. And so, you know, that's one of the things, you know, your time and energy also has to go in this direction as well. And so it's always something I think is wise to take into consideration, and also, you know, an important thing to learn. Now, some people like to go to Loreville, and some people like to go to Microtech. I'm close to Area 18, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of. I am definitely going to go ahead and pull my Constellation Taurus right here.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
And out it comes.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the designated.
At 11. Up we go. And we will go get loaded up on the Constellation, fire it up, and make sure she's ready to roll. So the Constellation Taurus, as I mentioned in the previous video, is one of my favorite ships to haul Quantanium in. It's a nice balance between, you know, having some firepower and some pretty good hauling capability with 174 SCU. It really is my go-to. I don't like to lose if for some reason you hit a crash or whatever. I don't like to lose much more than that at one time anyways. You know, if you lose 500 SCU for fine Quantanium, it hurts. And that's, you know, I've had an experience or two like that. So, yeah, this is definitely my go-to, the Constellation Taurus here, so we'll go ahead and call the elevator down. Get her fired up. Now, there's a really good argument to be made that the M2 is actually, you know, you don't even have to haul that much in it. It may be a better option in the sense that it does spawn inside a hangar with doors closed and that kind of a thing. You know, your ship's not exposed like it is now out here. And so, and I think that that's a very wise, you know, a wise thing to say as well. So I am going to do something a little different than what you guys would think in this particular case. I'm actually going to aim towards ARC-L5. And I am going to go ahead and lift off. Pull up my gear. Kind of roll out away from the station a little bit. And then I'm going to pivot towards ARC-L5. And I'm going to jump towards ARC-L5 for about 10 seconds or 15 seconds or so. And there's a reason behind that, right? One of the things that definitely happens is people do set up between ARC-L1 and Area 18. And so and what I mean set up, I mean like set up a mantis or something to bring you out of quantum. So just a quick punch over towards ARC-L5 or something along that direction. You know, you don't have to go long. Just give it about 15 or 20 seconds. See, I'm just getting a little bit here. You can even watch yourself on the, you just want to kind of break the angle a little bit. And this does add on to your time just a little bit, but that's okay, not that much. Now, we'll go ahead and drop out of quantum. Right. And now we'll actually just kind of clear our route and head over towards Area 18 now. This is something I think we're going to be doing quite a bit of at some point. Is doing a little bit of zigzag jumping. Now my cooldown is pretty high right now, which is interesting to me. This should have the let's look at it here. I'm just kind of curious. I had the XL1 on this guy, and I should have the XL1 on this guy. Kind of looking at this. Not necessarily easy to do this. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that, but it looks like I've lost the XL1 drive. Which is here nor there. I mean, I thought it was interesting that my spool time was so high. So it's something I know a lot of people have been mentioning lately, like when it comes to componentry, that they've been, you know, having an issue with it. So not exactly sure what happened there, but I will be replacing that, of course, with an XL1 drive here in the future. Again. So no big deal. We're headed back towards ArcCorp now. And this is us. So we did a little bit of a zig, and now we're doing our zag, right? Little different approach angle getting to ArcCorp. Not as likely to fall inside that dampening trap in like directly in between ARC-L1 and ArcCorp. And I do think that this is something like I said, I think that it's something you're going to see in the future. People do a lot more in order to avoid any kind of interdictions, at least as much as they can. Certainly there will be other choke points or bottlenecks. All right, so here we are. The first thing we want to do is kind of find our way and take a look around. And And that's what we're looking for, is right down there, area 18. And Bajini's right over that way. So we're going to start working our way towards Bajini. I always recommend flying to Bajini first if you can. And of course the cooldown here is excessive because I, quite honestly didn't realize that my componentries weren't what they should be, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and make this jump real quick. Excellent. Now we're going to come back and look towards area 18 and start working our way. Obviously, we do want to spool and jump towards it, but I do think it helps it render a little bit. It's a little less choppy if you fly into area 18 from Bajini. I know some people that actually will fly this whole distance because it can be a little choppy, the server sometimes. I have a halfway decent system, and Area 18 kind of goes between these periods of being really, really good, and then, occasionally, where you got to resynchronize and that kind of a thing. And it can be a little scary for sure, so. Especially if you're bringing in quite a bit of Quantanium. Really, one of the most important things to understand is you just want to take your time. A lot of times I'll grab an outside look just to be in awe. And we'll just kind of cruise it in fairly decent clip, nothing crazy. And we'll kind of nose down here, and just as soon as we kind of get the majority of the starport kind of in the lower section there as you look down. We're cruising at about 400. Now, as I begin to know, I'll begin nosing down. I am going to throw out the gear and the VTOLs, just so I don't forget those, and we're just going to work our way in. Once again, you can see just beautiful. Easy peasy. Bringing the Taurus in. We don't want to do anything too radical. And we'll definitely slow down our velocity meter here very quickly. So we'll go ahead, and as soon as we see that it's the right time to call, you can see there's a couple ships down there, then that's okay.
Hello, and thank you for contacting EDL Landing Assist.
So now we're getting the please contact. I usually just wait for that at area 18, so as soon as they said please contact, I did request a landing bay.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Okay, now we're being assigned our landing bay. Right below us, and that's okay. So that's a nice big one too. So we're just going to kind of start working our way down. And we are pretty nose down at this point. At this, it's one of those things where you want to have a semi-decent rate of descent, but you don't want to be going too crazy. And at some point here, I like to go ahead and just turn around and go towards one of this kind of a view, and that's what we'll do. As we begin to kind of flatten out, you can see there's looks like some kind of a Hercules taking off in the background. That's fantastic looking. We're just bringing in our little selves here. Really just a very simple landing. Oh, it's one of those things that can happen right there. See, it's an interesting thing, so you've got to kind of manage that stuff. You don't want to panic if you're at a reasonable clip. You don't want to panic if you happen to clip the side there. That's kind of an important thing. So it's one of those things where, you know, I didn't freak out on the sticks. I just kind of, you know, I didn't have a huge collective speed. And so in we go. Now, there's different ways to land in these things, and so, you know, we could talk about that in the long term, but down we are. We are safe. We did clip the side just a touch, but you know what?
Complete.
That's okay. It's, you know, nothing, no harm, no foul. You can see that it did acknowledge us. You can see the hangars closing. I can hear that I'm getting refueled. So we're in really good shape at this point. And listen, I could add something like that out and make it seem like everything goes smoothly in Star Citizen. It doesn't. You know, that's the thing. It's, you know, there are different views and angles and things that you could probably do to avoid that type of thing. These mega hangars are always kind of blow my mind how big they are. You know, I got all that room and I had to clip my tail, you know. That's so funny. Anyways, yeah, I mean, things happen in Star Citizen. I mean, part of the thing that you have to do is manage that stuff, right? And so, I like showing kind of the gameplay warts and all. You know, I'm not always perfect. I don't make all the best. You know, I'm not always the best at doing everything just mint perfect, and so, and more than likely, as a newer player or even an intermediate player, you won't either. You know, so it's always good to learn to kind of manage problems. Interesting that I don't see the. Oh, I do see it. Now, all right, so we're going to come in here and we're going to store this guy, and it's important that we do.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
And there's our store. We're going to go ahead and click that. And perfect. Now it's in retrieve, and we know that it's good and stored. And now we're off to the T.D.D. to go ahead and do the selling. And so, you know, this is kind of the cargo run, right? It's not, there's nothing real glamorous about it. It's, you know, it's loading up your ship, it's bringing it in, it's hauling it over to a T.D.D. It's really trying to mitigate your risk. I mean, you know, I certainly did put myself into a spot where I could have damaged the ship. Fortunately, I didn't. You know, I was kind of going at a pretty fair clip. Javelin tour still happening. So now we're just waiting for our tram, and we're going to go over to the T.D.D. and we're going to sell. And this is probably around the same amount of time that you would expect. Now, I did do a little bit of a zigzag. I did not have an XL1 drive for some strange reason, so this is probably, you know, you probably can cut this down by a couple of minutes. For sure. A couple of 30-second spool times and maybe not zigging and zagging. The zigging and zagging, though, I do think is something that it's a little bit of more of a future play. But if anybody does set up some kind of a quantum dampening situation in between where you're headed, it's always good to kind of mix and match, shake it up, fly towards something different for a minute. If you have the fuel capacity, it's going to be very helpful to kind of come at things from different angles. I think ultimately we'll find that wherever the landing zones are, they're going to be pretty camped. And it's going to be interesting to see how the lawful systems deal with that. Are they going to have just lots of air patrols, or what are they going to do to deal with the fact that there's a lot of people that are potentially going to camp kind of the landing areas? So we'll have to see. I mean, that's all future stuff, and it's hard to say. Of course, there's going to be no really substitution for bringing escorts. And I never want Star Citizen to become so watered down that it's one of those things. Now, there's a lot of chop happening here. This is totally unusual. I mean, I've come to Area 18 a lot of times in the last, I don't know.
Now arriving.
Probably 20, 30 times in the last couple of weeks, and I've never had chop like this. So I think that Invictus has really kind of put a pretty good strain on the servers for sure. And that's okay. That's, once again, me showing kind of the Star Citizen gameplay loop, kind of warts and all. You know, it is what it is. You have to deal with whatever's happening at the moment, including, you know, your own kind of piloting skills and that type of thing. And so, kind of chip it together. And so this is where you bring it here, the T.D.D. It's just, you know, it's in the same plaza as this particular piece of artwork here. And, yeah. Hardcore's pretty amazing, actually. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool town. Probably not someplace I'd like to hang out at, but, you know, or like to kind of stay long-term at, but certainly coming down for a visit and, you know, and going out, you know, to a club or something might be a lot of fun here. It would seem like. So we're going to go ahead and choose a trading console. We're going to go ahead and choose sell, and of course we have this guy. And I did have a little bit of Borace. Look at that. Just a few units of Borace is quite a bit of money. But I also had quite a bit of Quantanium. You can see 1.4 million. And so we'll go ahead and get that sold as well. And really, that's it. That's the whole thing in a nutshell right there. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you just kind of have to manage your risk, manage your time, make some good decisions if you can. If you definitely think it's a hot and heavy server, you might consider grabbing an escort, but really that's the whole end of the loop that you don't normally see. And I do demonstrate it from time to time, but I always think it's a healthy thing for people to see the other side of the loop. I don't necessarily know that it's as wise to stream that side of the loop, but it is something that nonetheless I think is wise to go over it and so people understand it. So that, I hope this kind of served you well. It's kind of the go-to on what you do. Please take care, have a lovely day, and I will see you all around the verse.